Okay, welcome to lesson 14. 14. This is unit 10, descriptive writing. So in this lesson, we will be covering lesson 10.1, what is descriptive writing, and lesson 10.2, how to create interesting description. So what is descriptive writing? In this section, we will be discussing the main characteristics of descriptive writing in preparation for section C of your exam. As the name suggests, descriptive writing focuses on describing people, places, events, and objects. Although other writing forms also contain descriptions of these things, the main purpose of descriptive writing is to create interesting and evocative descriptions of its subject. Narrative writing, for example, contains descriptions of many of the things listed above. However, it is predominantly defined by its narrative structure. In other words, narrative writing tells a story through linking different events and actions to create a sequence that is called a plot. Description in this type of writing is used to make the story realistic and interesting for the reader. Descriptive writing can similarly include aspects of narrative writing, such as moving from different elements of its subject in a logical sequence or describing significant events. On the other hand, it would be predominantly described as an attempt to create a picture of its subject in the reader's mind by creatively describing different attributes of that subject. Overall, we would say that in descriptive writing, the description takes precedence over the narrative. So, appeal to the senses. We touched on this a little bit last session, and you'll find at this point that these topics do cross over quite a lot. Descriptive writing is a type of creative writing, and it can also be found in narrative writing, which we'll be covering next session. So remember that we've talked about before how some of these can tick multiple boxes at once, and we always look for the best match. So arguably, appealing to the senses is the most important technique that authors use when describing their subject. Whether it is a place, a person, an event, an object, or an action, describing how it relates to the senses will give the reader a rich and realistic image in their mind. To improve the imagery that you construct, you may wish to try and select things that you come across in daily life and try to describe what they look like, smell like, taste like, sound like, and feel like. So using the advice I've just given you there, can you give me some sentences to describe the setting pictured? Remember that when you're writing, the reader can't see what you can see, whether you can see it in a picture, whether you can see it in real life, whether you can see it in your mind. The reader can't see that. So you need to use descriptive words and make sure here you touch on the senses. We're going to be activating the senses in this picture. So would somebody like to share with me a sentence that they can use to describe this picture to somebody that can't see it using senses? Tabitha, it is a sunny day. Yes, it is a sunny day. That is exactly right. Yeah. Can we add the senses in there somewhere? Can we say how the sunny day affects any of our senses, our sight, our feet, our touch, our taste? How does the sunny day affect them? A picnic with a spectacular view, Roger. Yeah, that is what's happening in this. It's a picnic on a sunny day. That's brilliant, with a spectacular view. So there you've described two things that we're seeing with our sense of sight. We can
It's
see
the wrong spelling of view, by the way, I have realised.
Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about that. We're not wrong spelling. It's fine. Yeah, the view is spectacular, and Tabitha's right. It is sunny. Can we talk about the way that feels then? The way that the sun feels on us. Can we explain that in a sense? How does a sunny day feel to us? Hot. Yeah, Tabitha, very, very good. Because yesterday was a sunny day, but it certainly wasn't hot, was it? So if we're going to talk about having a picnic outside, we want to say the breeze felt amazing, Lily. Well done. The breeze felt amazing. That's brilliant. So we can feel the heat of the sun, we can see the spectacular view, and we can feel the breeze across us. That's brilliant. If we have a look at this picture then, if we get the sense that we haven't used yet, what about smell, taste? What about smell or taste? What can we use for those? Remember, we're having a picnic. It's not just a spectacular view. We're not just in the forest or a field. We're having a picnic. So what can we smell and taste? How could you describe the picnic food to a reader that wasn't there? Oh, Tabitha, the smell of fresh bread. You've got me with that one. Yes, the smell of fresh bread. I love it. What can we taste while we're sitting here looking at this beautiful view? The green sweet grapes. Wow, well done. Rodri said the taste of grapes and wine. Tabitha, nice wine. Brilliant. Yeah, excellent. Excellent. So can you see in those what, rather than saying to the reader, we are sitting in a field, looking at a lake, eating a picnic. That's really, really dull, and it's really, really immature as well. We've talked about the hot sun beaming down. We've talked about the feel of the breeze, the smell of the the bread, and the taste of the grapes. Like, that is really leveled up what we're trying to say, hasn't it? And it's not just leveled it up to make us sound like we're better at English. It's made the reader understand the setting far better. Can you see that? Good. So you all did really well on that. I'm very, very impressed. Well done. So let me move on to my next one. So colour and contrast. As the key purpose of descriptive writing is to paint a picture in the reader's mind of the chosen subject, describing the different colours involved or the contrast of colours that might be created will create a much more vivid image for the reader. A way to improve your understanding of colour and contrast is to consider what atmosphere and moods different colours create. Hills, the Woman in Black, is a good example of this because it uses darkness to create a haunting atmosphere and contrasts it with the comfort of light. We did that last session. Try to consider how other colours and shades make you feel and how this could be used to enhance your descriptions. We touched upon this last session when we talked about the house being described as a lighthouse and the positive connotations associated with light in contrast to the terrifying nature of the dark storm outside. So remember to consider the connotations of certain colours and shades. So again, let's have some descriptions on this picture here. What's going on in this picture? Can you describe this picture to our readers, to our audience, using light, using the contrast between light and dark, using shades of colour, and what connotations certain colours give? What could we say about this? A dark grey cell. Yeah, Tabitha, well done. A dark caged room, Lisa. Well done. Yeah, caged is important because there are bars there. But rather than just saying there's bars there, we're talking about how dark it is. You've all said dark. Meadow, the shadows surround him. That's excellent. Yeah, it's like he's being surrounded by shadows. It feels very, very claustrophobic, doesn't it? Very good. I really like that. And the dark grey as well that you mentioned, Tabitha. The dark grey is a great colour, and grey is not a very happy colour. Grey is oppressive. Grey is depressing. And that's exactly what this horrible cell is, isn't it? Rodri, he was punished and put into a dark prison cell and couldn't escape. Very, very good. Yeah, we've got a real image there, not just of the colours and what he's doing, but we've got a background story of him. I like it. You haven't said if he was punished rightly or wrongly. I want to know now. I want to get some more information about this man. Brilliant. You've all done really well on that. Can we do anything about the light? Because there is light in this picture. You've all done really well picking up on the dark there. Can we talk a little bit about the light? Lily, the cold feeling, lacking comfort. Excellent. Yeah, we can feel the lack of comfort in this, can't we? You don't need to say there's no mattresses, there's no pillows. You can feel it with the cold. A little bit of light through the window, Tabitha. Yeah, the light from the window was just out of reach. Well done, both of you. I'm picking up on the tiny bit of light, and it's too far away, isn't it? It's not inside the room. The light is there, and he is here in the cold grey. Really, really good. Very, very good. That's quite the opposite, isn't it, to last week's when he was in the light and the horrible dark was outside. Now we've got him in the horrible dark and the light is outside. The optimistic bit is outside. Very, very good. I like that. Now let's move on to the next one. Right, so talking about colours this time. We've just talked about light and dark and the contrast between light and dark, but what about colours in general? What connotations do certain colours have? So I'm going to put up a poll here. There's no right or wrong for these, by the way, so I'm not going to be able to tell you what's right or wrong. You're just going to tell me which of these words you associate with the colour that we've mentioned. So let me put the poll up for you, A, B or C. And the option here is the colour yellow. Does it make you feel joyful? A. B, does it give an ominous tone? Or C, is it a relaxed tone. Wait for everybody to get their votes in. There is no right or wrong here. If it makes you feel one of those things, then great. And that's the thing when you're using colours, is not everybody might have the same connotations that you do to that colour, but there are some colours that do stand out with certain feelings more than others. So let me end the poll and share the results. Most of you, the vast majority of you, said A for that, yellow, joyful. I would have said the same. Yellow makes me think of sunshines. It makes me think of daffodils. It makes me think of children playing. And yeah, yellow to me is a really joyful, colourful colour. You wouldn't talk about a scary prison cell with a yellow cushion, would you? It would kind of be quite jarring. Or you might if you wanted it to be jarring, but the effect would be that it didn't fit. So yeah, well done for that one. Yeah, I like that one. Let's move on to another colour. The same 3 options, but this time the colour is red. I would be interested to know what you feel about the colour red. What does red make you feel? Does it have a joyful tone? Does it come with an ominous tone, or is it a relaxed tone? C.
There's only 2 options, A and B.
See 2, A and B.
On the poll.
Can everyone else just see 2?
No, I can see all 3.
Are you on a mobile?
Yeah.
Can you maybe pinch the screen or move it somewhere? I think on a mobile it does kind of sit in a funny place sometimes.
Okay, I'll try. Thank you.
Sorry. But if you want to pick C, you can just shout C out if you like. Oh, thank you, Tabitha and Daniel. You saw all 3. Yeah, it might be a mobile thing. Great, let me end the poll and share it with you. That one was split. Some of you think B, ominous, and some of you think C, relaxed. That's really interesting that that one was split. For me, red would be like a danger, a warning colour. You know, if someone's if she walks into the room in a bright red dress, you think, oh, what's she going to do? You know, or if you've depicted someone walking down the street and there's red signs flashing everywhere and red lights, you might think danger's coming, something bad's going to happen. So really interesting that some of you picked relaxed for that. And it was a few of you as well. So yeah, definitely not what I would have said to red, but that's really interesting. And there's no right or wrong for this. Next colour, we have got blue. Same 3 options. I would like to know what you feel about the colour blue. Where would you use blue? What would you think your readers would associate blue with? Oh, wow, you are all straight in there with the same answer now. Oh, my word. All of you have got the same answer. Right, okay. One's gone different. That's really interesting. Okay, yeah, I thought this one would be the most split. I thought blue would be easily the most split. Let me share this one with you. Most of you have gone for C there, relaxed. Yeah, I think blue gives you an image of the waves, you know, the blue sky. It's calming. It makes you feel of the breeze, you know, a spring day or something. But yeah, blue could be anything. Blue could be, you know, ominous. It could be joyful as well. It could be anything really. Blue's quite, I would have said that blue was quite neutral, but it's interesting that you all went absolutely straight for relaxed there. So yeah, maybe it's not as clear cut as we thought. So I hope you found that interesting and useful. But when you talk about colours, maybe you could use them to highlight these things. So if you're trying to explain a nice, joyful summer's day, maybe use yellow then. If you're trying to get across danger in a warning tone, maybe use some red. So descriptive words. Adjectives and adverbs are another essential element of descriptive writing. They both tell the reader what is interesting or unique about the subject you are describing. The more accurate the adjective or adverb is, the better. By this I mean, if you were describing a red car, it would be much more interesting and unique if you provided the exact shade of red. For example, a maroon car, a burgundy car, or a cherry red car. When describing an action, using an accurate adverb is important. Another example might be if you were describing a person throwing an object in anger, you may wish to use a more accurate adverb, such as he furiously threw the remote control, or he frantically threw the remote control, or he dramatically threw the remote control. To successfully use adjectives and adverbs, they must both be unique and accurate. To enhance your vocabulary so that you can always provide the most interesting adverb or adjective, you should continue to read a variety of literature and highlight, look up and note down any descriptive words that you do not understand. You might also want to keep a list of interesting descriptive words. Oh, I've just seen Alex's message. Sorry, Alex. You could pair them and say, as she walked down the alleyway, the rainy puddles were suddenly lit up in frightening dazzle of police sirens rushing past. Oh, I love that. Rushing past as she panicked. That's amazing. Yes, you could absolutely pair them up, couldn't you? Well done. Yeah. So what do we call that? Does anyone know what we call that when we've got kind of two pairing opposite things, you know, and we put them together? Maybe something that's really calming with something frightening. What do we call those opposite ideas that we put together? Do you remember?
Juxtaposition.
Juxtaposition, absolutely. Oh, antithesis, Meadow. You are really, really close there. I suppose it could be an antithesis of types, but yes, juxtaposition. Well done. Oh, you're all learning so much. I'm so proud. Oh, sorry. And that was the other bit. Adjectives and adverbs must be unique and accurate. So again, using your best, most accurate adjectives and adverbs, who can think of a sentence to describe what is happening in this picture? Adverbs, again, remember, adverbs describe a verb. So they describe a doing word and they usually end in ly. So frantically, dramatically. What can we describe as going on in this picture to someone that can't see the picture?
He's angrily kicking the car.
Angrily kicking the car. Yeah, we can see that he's angry. Yeah, he is booting that car in anger. He's not a happy bunny, is he? And we can see that from the picture, and we have to get that across to the reader. Can we use some adjectives then instead of that's an adverb? Very good adverb. Can we use some adjectives? What car is he booting? He frustratedly kicked the car's wheel. Very good, Tabitha. You've put in the wheel there as well, so we know which part of the car he's kicking. Well done. And now we know our car has wheels. Very, very good. Can we describe the car a bit more? Is this any old car?
Racing car.
Yes, definitely a racing car, yes. A Formula One car, Tabitha, yes, definitely. Yeah, so again, we've got to get that across to the reader because it's really, really easy when we're looking at the picture to say he kicked the car, but you'd be thinking Ford Fiesta or something, wouldn't you? You know, you've got to really be accurate to get it across, and the more description you can use, the better. Oh, he took out his furiously on the car. Yeah, he took out his anger furiously on the car, or he took out his ferocity on the car. Brilliant, Lily. Yeah, I like that. Furiously is a very, very
back wheel broken.
Sorry?
Look at the back wheel. The metal thing's poking out.
Yeah, how could we talk about that then, Roger? You're right. The wheel has broken. What could we say about that? The wheel on this car is broken and the man's giving it a good old kick.
Yeah, but you want to do it as an adjective.
Yes. Lily's done a really good job when she says he took out his anger furiously on the car. So yeah, he's angry at the car. It's aimed at the car, isn't it?
Yeah, he angrily and furiously kicked the car because the wheel was broken.
Yeah, because the wheel was broken. Yeah, I think we could explain the wheel was broken better though, couldn't we? We could use bigger words for that. We could the back left wheel or something. Oh, Alex, wheels blown, dreams shattered, last place left behind. Awesome, very, very good. Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, wheels blown, that's a really good adjective. Dreams shattered, ever so good adjective. Last place, yeah, you've described exactly where he is. And I think if you mix that with Lily's of he angrily kicked the car furiously, is brilliant. Tabitha, the back wheel suddenly broke. Yes, suddenly is excellent. Suddenly it's like it just happened and he had no idea and he was in first place and it just blew up. And oh yeah, you can definitely feel the frustration there, can't you? So can you see how all this builds up to make not just a picture of what's happening to the reader, but a picture of what has happened and why it got to this point? You've all done really well on this one. Right, let's keep going. We could do this forever, couldn't we? So figurative language and linguistic techniques. You should always try to use language creatively when you are constructing a piece of descriptive language. Using figurative language and linguistic techniques is a great way of doing this. You might want to use techniques such as metaphors and similes, symbolism, personification, onomatopoeia, assonance and consonants, rhyme, repetition, and hyperbole. And we've been over all of these. So if any of these have come up and you've gone, I have no idea what that is, you'll have to go back and watch some of the videos because at this point now, we've been over all of those in detail. So as with descriptive words, it's always important to be accurate and creative when you are using figurative language and linguistic techniques. The best way to improve your use of both is to highlight interesting examples of them in your reading and consider what the author is trying to convey and what makes this example successful, as we have done in previous sections. So bearing in mind these linguistic techniques, what could we say about this picture here? Pretend you're writing a story and in it you have an angry man. What can you say about him that is just more descriptive than just the man was angry? What metaphors or similes can you think of? Can the man maybe describe how angry he is in hyperbole? Maybe onomatopoeia would be useful here. Give me some examples and I'll share with you after some of mine.
Do you want us to type it?
Yeah, Rodri, do you have any ideas? You can talk to me.
He opened his mouth like a lion.
Oh, I love that. Like a lion. Go on, Rodri, what was that? What was that example? Yes, it was. Good job, Rodri. Rodri's been revising. Rodri's written flashcards on these, by the way. So Rodri.
I only did metaphors and similes again this morning because I've watched the first one again.
Isn't it good when you keep it fresh? Isn't it good when you keep going over? You're right there with your similes, Rodri. Well done. Good job. Lisa, the man screamed like a banshee. Oh, I didn't even think of that one when I was doing my examples. I love that. Scream like a banshee. See, there as well, you get a kind of bit of hysteria as well, don't you? You know, scream like a banshee is just not just, oh, I'm really annoyed. You get he's proper, really, really furious, like, you know, insane kind of furious. I love that. That gives a really, really good tone, a really specific tone. Well done on getting the accurate part there, Lisa. You really understood getting the accurate part there. Tabitha, he screamed like a screaming child. Oh, completely flipped it. Now he's a petulant, angry man, isn't he? Oh, his tea wasn't ready on time and he's screaming like a child. Can you see how when we use those accurate adjectives, we get the tone of the piece? So in your mind, Lisa and Tabitha, I think you probably had a completely different reason why this man was angry, and you've each depicted your own way really, really well. And I got two completely different images of this man then from those descriptions, even though you're both telling me the same thing. You're both telling me a man is angry, but I'm getting different vibes from this, and that's what you want. You want to give your vibe to the reader. Who else has got any examples of what this man could be saying? Alex, that was the last straw. He began to bellow the walls down furiously. Brilliant. Bellow the wall down. That's brilliant, because it's not actually happening, is it? He's not actually shouting until the walls fall down. That's brilliant. That's great. That's hyperbole, isn't it? And that was the last straw. That's good. I really like those phrases that we use. You know, that was the last straw. He's blowing his top. He's flipped his lid. Those phrases are really good as well. I like that. Has anyone got any more examples before I give you some of mine? No? Okay, you can have my answers then. I'll share with you my answers. So mine are, he was a raging bull. What's that one? Come on, Roger, you've been revising these. What's he was a raging bull?
It's a metaphor.
Yes, it is, because he isn't actually a bull. So we're saying that he is. A metaphor, Tabitha. Excellent. Tabitha's been revising too. Very, very good.
I think I need to look over some of them though. Metaphors and similes. I mean, I find them quite easy.
Oh, well, maybe this will show you which ones you don't really remember then. But yeah, if I said he was like a raging bull, that would be a simile. But I said he was a raging bull. That is a metaphor. What about? He slammed the door and stormed into the room, throwing his bag onto the floor and kicking the wall. I think I've used this example with you before. I use this with a lot of my students. So I say, he slammed the door and he stormed into the room, throwing his bag on the floor and kicking the wall. I haven't said how this man is feeling, but you know he's angry. By the words that I have chosen, you know he's angry. And all I have done is said a man has come into a room. But the words that I've chosen give you that he's angry. You know, I could have said an angry man walks into the room, but that's really, really immature, and you want to level it up a little bit at this point. Alex, he shouted louder than a 40-plus-year-old man sneezing. That's brilliant. I love that. My dad is the loudest sneezer in the world, and now I'm imagining this man shouting even louder than that. That's brilliant. So if you're writing a humorous piece, that is exactly where you want to be. That's brilliant. And again, you're getting the tone across there, aren't you? You're really getting the humorous tone across. Love that. My next one, I could kill you. That's what he's saying. And he's not actually going to kill someone. You know, he's probably shouting at one of his kids for leaving a sock on the floor. So what do we call that when you've really over exaggerated, when you've gone way, way, way over the top? What do we call that? I won't pick on anyone, but you can shout out if you want. Meadow, absolutely brilliant. Hyperbole, yes, when you've gone really over the top, you've way over exaggerated. I could kill you. Yep, absolutely. Very good. He gave a roar of anger. What's that? A roar of anger. That's a good one, isn't it? A roar of anger is a good example. And the curtains quivered as he stormed around the room. We've done this one as well. We've covered this one. What's the curtains quivering? What's that an example of? It's like even the curtains are scared of him while he's shouting and he's angry. Meadow, personification, Tabitha. Very well done. I saw Alex nodding as well. Alex knew that was personification. Good job. Well done. Yeah, the curtains, they're not quivering in terror because curtains don't have feelings, but we've given them feelings of a person. That's personification. And he's about to blow his top. That's one of the phrases that we could use, isn't it? A well-known phrase. Everybody knows what blows his top means. So when you use that in writing, people can connect that with other times they've seen it and they know what's happening. There you go. Have my answers. So sentence and paragraph structure. Altering your sentence and paragraph structure is also another creative tool you can use to enhance your descriptive writing. Sentence structure can be changed by writing sentences of different length or by varying the way that sentences are punctuated. Paragraph structure can be varied by shortening or lengthening the number of sentences in the paragraph. Rodri, I'm logged in twice somehow. Oh, we'll have you twice. It's fine, Rodri. Don't worry about it. Throughout this course, we have seen how our authors use short, long, and fragmented sentences to convey a variety of different meanings and atmospheres. For example, a short sentence could be used to punctuate the words and make them stand out amongst the rest of the paragraph. Time can also be indicated by sentence structure. We have seen authors use very short, one-sentence long paragraphs to emphasize the meaning of that sentence and make it stand out among the rest of their text. A long sentence, on the other hand, could be used to convey a long, monotonous group of items or the length of time something has taken, whereas a fragmented sentence could be used to show that a string of events occurred very quickly and proficiently. These are only some of the ways authors use these types of sentences. There are many others. You should try to creatively use punctuation and different sentence lengths to enhance the meaning that you are trying to convey. Like other techniques, the quickest and most efficient way to improve your use of sentence structure in descriptive writing is to note down any interesting examples you come across in your own reading and try to consider what meaning the author is trying to convey and why this technique is effective. So we're going to look at an example now. I'm going to read this example to you, and then we're going to do a poll afterwards. So this is option A. Janet had to hurry because the bus was coming. She heard the wheels squealing and saw the bus coming down the street. She ran out the door and down the drive to catch only the stench of lingering exhaust fumes. So that is one story about Janet running for a bus. B, the same thing is happening. Janet is running for a bus. This time we've changed the sentence structure. The same thing is happening. We've changed the sentence structure. So Janet had to hurry. The bus was coming. She heard its wheels squeal. She saw its yellow face. It turned down her street. She had no more time. She ran out the door and down the drive to catch only the stench of lingering exhaust fumes. So I'm going to put a poll up now. Which one of these, there's only two options on this poll, so hopefully everyone can see it. Let me change the poll options, A, B. Which of these is more effective? Which of these sentence structures gets the message and the tone across better? Which do you prefer? Which one should you be aiming for? Everybody in there so far with the same answer. Can we get everybody to vote? Anybody else want to take a vote? Okay, let me share that one with you. Okay, there was a split there, but only a slight split. Most people said B. I agree. B with the full stops makes it more tense, doesn't it? The tiny, short sentences, it makes it really tense. Janet had to hurry. The bus was coming. She heard its wheels squeal. And not just that, but they've changed it slightly. They've added some things in there, some linguistic techniques. So its wheels are squealing and she saw its yellow face. It's personified now. Yes, I think B makes its point much better. It's only slight though, isn't it? It's really, really slight. You really have to look for what you're noticing. But if you read that in a book, you might find yourself naturally getting a bit tenser, hanging on a little bit. You know, if you're reading a really tense book, maybe a thriller or a Stephen King or something, you'll see the little snippets of sentences, maybe even in paragraphs rather than sentences, to keep it moving really fast.
The only thing about B, it looks as though it's got too many full stops. In a way,
yes, it does. If you were writing an essay like that, I would absolutely pull you up on that, Rodri. I would say we don't write like that. That's not full
I think that's
sentences.
why some people got
maybe
said A, because
in fiction you can use sentences, you can use paragraphs to get across what you want. But yeah, in an essay that would be a no-no. Okay, let me stop sharing that with you. Well done. So as we've just seen in this example, what is happening in both pieces is exactly the same. The same person is going through the same event, but the effect on your reader is very different in both pieces. What you're aiming for is to get across every aspect of your scene in the best possible way. Here, we get across the urgent, hurrying tone, the sentence structure. But don't forget to combine the other aspects we've talked about too. Here, we also have descriptions of senses in the squealing breaks. We have personification of the bus with its yellow face. So remember to blend all of these techniques where they fit best to highlight the situation you're trying to get across to the reader. So it sounds like a big task to remember to do all these things at once and put them all into your work. But the more you practice, the more it becomes natural. And I've stressed this before many times, but I'm going to stress it again, that the best way to practice this, the best way to come across these techniques and the best way to see them in action is to read. Read whatever you want to read, but the subject of descriptive writing, fiction, is best. So try and read some passages of books. You don't even need to read the whole book. Maybe Google famous book passages or something and highlight in those what you can see the writer is using. What adjectives and adverbs have been used and how accurate are these? Are there any metaphors or similes in your passage? What senses have been activated in this writing? How does the sentence structure affect the tone? Are colours used to demonstrate the tone too? Note these things down and you'll be surprised how quickly this becomes natural to you when you come to write them for yourself. So what have we learned in this lesson? That descriptive writing describes people, places, events, objects, and actions. That description takes precedence over the plot in descriptive writing. That descriptive writing can be improved by appealing to the reader's senses, using colour and contrast, using a variety of interesting descriptive words, effectively using figurative language and linguistic techniques, and using different sentence and paragraph structure. Thank you very much for coming to lesson 14. We're getting through this really quickly now, aren't we? Thank you very much.